Hello YouTube. So, it, I guess like the last video I made was kind of like manic seeming and shit, dude. And my name's Blurryface and I care what you think. And so, I figured I'd just make this just so, yeah. I've calmed down since then. I was intoxicated and I was upset about something, and dude, yeah, and yeah, I was having a moment, and yeah, but yeah, I figured I'd just make this video to like just talk about life, kind of chill and kill, that's you know, but shit, and I don't know, man. It's just kind of like retrospective. Dude, this life was crazy. This life was crazy. There were so many like extreme ups and downs. Quite manic at like just like yeah. There were so many like yeah. A lot of this life was split extremely heavily. So like, well, I'm not gonna lie, for like the first dude, yeah, like I don't know, like 22 years, yeah, there wasn't much like up. My soul or my mode of being, my ability to feel, my ability to kind of mentally process what's happening to me, or to think with any kind of like presence. Does that make sense? Yeah. Was in a bad way. It was basically yeah. It was yeah. It was a habit. Messed up bad, and yeah. And I was basically in a state of being. It's hard to describe, but it was basically in a state of being where I was constantly forced to like shine my light, if that makes sense, into a hall of mirrors scenario. My jiva, that is, my perspective, my sense of eye, my ability to feel it, yeah. And it was like in a sacral chakra where I was getting kind of held in place with these prongs, two behind here and one here. And inside that sacral chakra, and obviously when you're going through this, when you're young, and like, I had no idea what the fuck was happening. I had no words, like obviously it took some meditation and some studying and some guidance from above and from within to kind of like figure out what was happening and develop a vocabulary to be able to describe it. And despite, you know, seeming quite crazy, obviously, which is fine. Yeah, kind of, yeah, I'm just here to share my experience. I ain't got nothing to hide or prove, but I also, as it turns out, don't have too many people to talk to. Well, yeah, and yeah, well, while I'm visiting here, I guess, I don't know. I know, but yeah, I figured, yeah, I'd just kind of ramble at the air. And yeah, anyways, so in that sacral chakra scenario that I was talking about, where I was like pinned in place, you know what I mean, forced to shine my light with kind of self-imposed will that was constantly being, how do you say, extracted or like coerced out of me via emotional manipulation. And yeah, so what that essentially does when you're in that scenario, your own light constantly reflecting back at you directly without an emotional shield because it had been broken down through so much coercive emotional control, don't you know, kind of bakes you sort of like a insect under a magnifying glass. And what that essentially leads to is your soul being just fried to bits, like your ability to feel, your ability to see anything, your ability to understand or think for yourself or have any kind of scope or perspective, feel any kind of love or any kind of like higher vibrational Do you know what I mean? Planes of consciousness, or like awareness, as well as any kind of like frontal lobe abilities, planning, or any yeah, dude, it annihilates your ability to have any kind of scope for reality. So any way to like conceptualize the future, or any way to like remember. My memory was always foggy, constant insomnia too, because yeah, dude, yeah. And I kind of grew up like that, and dude, for the longest time, like I couldn't tell. You know what I mean? Like how I was trying to say in the manic episode. It's like when you grow up without oscillation. Oh, I forgot to say where that kind of yielded to when you're constantly getting baked underneath your own light, like a magnifying glass inside of a sacral chakra. Yeah, it basically leads to this state of being where, due to an immense amount of energetic draining from others, and yeah, in this pain machine that was assembled, yeah, it essentially leads to a state of being where the jiva, the soul, the atman, the jivatman, the perspective, whatever you want to say, the incarnation, the life as such, as an individual, in Advaita Vedanta terms, the droplet which would return to the ocean, Dutya. What it essentially leads to, the state it leads to, is this suspension between not being able to breathe and death. A suspension between not being able to breathe and death. Kind of like purgatory, but like it is a violation of nature. It's like it is like a pocket of space-time with like a glitch or some shit. Do you know what I mean? And this gap that I was forced to live in, kind of the way it makes you feel after you have been completely and utterly emotionally milked and baked, and yeah, once you're in that state, due to the amount of mental energy that was being drained in order to force this scenario to be as such, you can't, this is what it feels like. You can't breathe, and you feel like it's your fault you can't breathe. And you also feel like God has abandoned you, and that you're alone in a pocket universe, disconnected from Indra's net, meaning the interconnection of consciousness between each one of us, like the net of being, if you've ever seen the Alex Gray painting. Yeah, like the consciousnesses between each node, yeah, cut. Which, if any of y'all, by chance, have seen the video I made called Unity, I discussed my, like, I call it the big acid trip, but like this one acid trip that I had on New Year's in 2020. And during that trip, there were like two main events that happened that were like profoundly life-changing when I was alive in this body. And yeah, and one of the like moments on that trip was my connection, so like my node on the net, my intercrossing of the reticulations and such, yeah, got snapped back together. And my perspective, how I saw it in the trip, was an angel coming down and touching me on my forehead and giving me my perspective back. That was yours truly. And yeah. And yeah. And I had to come down here to get them out of that pain machine that they had grown up in. And when I say them, yeah, I'm talking about two people. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, and yeah. And those two events kind of, that was the first time that I had felt love in 22 years. Since I had been, yeah, they had cut the connections on my net and pocketed me down into that little abomination of being where you can't breathe and you feel like it's your fault you can't breathe, and you also can't die or let go. like suffering on a level that, yeah, if the self can be conceptualized as God, it's God being separated from creation, or the being being separated from breath or death. However you want to phrase it. The self that is in all of us. Do you know what I mean? The awareness, the aliveness, the self, capital S, the self. Yeah. Just, yeah. It's a gnarly state of being to grow up in, and the thing is, it's like, when you grow up in that state, we would not know light without dark, we would not know inhale without exhale, we would not know day without night. When you grow up like that, you don't even realize after like long enough that it's like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't feel pain and you can't feel anymore. You can't, you're all fogged up in the head, you know what I mean? Yeah. Dude, I have 7,000 hours in TF too. Like, I just sat in my room and played games, bro, because every motion was painful. I could barely, yeah, dude, I felt so, every kind of fucked up, a whole rainbow of different kinds of fucked up. And I had no words for why. And, like, I could barely even tell that I was fucked up, but, like, I couldn't, like, the effects were still, do you know what I mean? I couldn't tell how fucked up I was. I just kind of, like, resigned out of life for a really long time until I had this, like, ego death, and I went out, like, seeking on, like, the journey, you know what I mean, the archetypal journey, and yeah, that's when I got into acid and weed and shit, and had that trip, and yeah. About 2 years later, like, they reinitiated even after my perspective got given back and my nodes got connected. Yeah, the pain machine was, like, reassembled, and it ended up killing my soul because, well, it put me into that state again, but I actually found a way to die. Me and someone I love very much found a way to die, which was splitting, like, yeah, which my heart was already barely holding on, you know what I mean? And it, yeah, ended up in a release. And he kind of was still in this pain machine in the throat chakra, getting polarized constantly with his vajra, getting, yeah. Yeah. And he, in about 2 years after that, when he was 22, as it turns out, it was, yeah, they both found a way to die. Like that one day that I was talking about, that I went to the non-dual reality and went to the mental hospital the day after, yeah. That was the day he got a way out. He found a way out. We couldn't get out this way, like into here. We could not get out this way of that fucking pain machine. And so we had to go out the other way, which was death. Yeah. And after we were both 86 the fuck out, dude, we went through Akasha, the Akashic Records, to Inna, or Sirius A and B, a planet called Blue Duck, which is where my guardian angel, or my guiding light, my mother, the one who gave me back my perspective and reconnected my nodes on the trip that year, and had been watching over me my entire life and guiding me, and yeah, we sought her out. And because that pain machine was still harming Gaia and the people around us, and yeah, and so we got some people out here to, you know, do some Jiva rescuing and to do, you know, some freaking damage control. Amazing. And freaking, yeah, basically to get them fully and completely, yeah, safe from the fucking work camp, dude, from the fucking pain camp, from the fucking, yeah, emotionally wrenching, like the Jiva, destroying, money laundering, pain machine, and yeah, freaking yeah. And so yeah. The people who constructed said machine and inflicted such abuse and kind of just abomination to being, to be honest. They are now cut off from their source of their batteries, essentially, for this robot. Yep. Yeah, their batteries have been, their favorite toys have been taken away from them, and they will never see them again. Ever. 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 And so, to anyone who knows me personally, if you've been wondering where the fuck I went, and kind of what the fuck happened, I died. Yeah, I died. I fucking died, dude. And I got reborn in a new body. I don't know. Well, I'm Blue Dog, but yeah, no. Yeah, with my everything. And yeah. And my actual mom and shit. I'll be crazy. I'm sure, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I'm just happy to be out of here, though. Out of the goddamn work camp, out of the fucking pain, out of the fucking hell. Out of the fucking solitude, the isolation, being cut off from any kind of support and just lack of love and spirit. Dude, I'm it just, yeah. And yeah, I love Earth, but dude, I just don't miss it here. In this scenario, though, yeah, I just don't fucking miss it. It was just about 2.5 decades of suffering on the deepest level you could possibly imagine, or conceptualize, or experience, or whatever the fuck. Your ability to feel being suspended in a state where you simultaneously cannot breathe, cannot die, and feel guilty, like you deserve the situation you're in, but you don't know why. It's an gnarly state to be. That's not even like a ring of hell. That's not even a rung of hell. You have to die to go to hell. And yeah. And yeah, it required an immense amount of mental energy to sustain that abomination of a state of being, because it was just about reality bending, like space-time bending, like a fucking black hole, dog. And it was, yeah, fucking black hole, dude. And yeah, they had rented a whole bunch of my soul's, like, spiritual heritage and, like, my soul's belongings, and they had kind of intercepted a whole lot of support that was supposed to be for, yeah, like Ganga and Agni, their perspectives, my freaking 2 naughty channels, dude, the perspectives of my goddamn Kundalini. And yeah, they were renting those, and yeah, they were given a second chance, do you see? That was reincarnated into this body after they found, and they set up the pain machine and did it again, though. Twice. And just chill. Yeah. So, no more renting Ganga and Agni. Like, they are cut off. Cut off. That's it. Rap skeeter. No more pain machine. and the more pin machine. And yeah, so if I seem fucking crazy a little bit, dude, I probably barely. I can't even say that was dreaming. I can probably barely do math at this point, but dude, yeah, this shit tends to fry a person's brain. Also, literally dying tends to. I'll do it, bro. I do. So yeah, this is kind of like consciousness FaceTime. The reason this body is even still alive, believe it or not, is because, and this is recorded and documented on YouTube, the process. We had to, like, do a transplant, basically, with 2 halves of there to keep this body alive. Otherwise, it would not be. Yeah. And so, if you're wondering kind of what's been up, and kind of like why things seem so disjointed, jumbled, different, wacko, yeah, it's because 2 halves of their, whatever you want to call it, soul doesn't seem like the right word, but yeah, are essentially powering this being, keeping it alive, breathing for it and such, pumping its heart, creating a pulse and shit, which we continuously have to check. And I am essentially like being consciousness FaceTimed right now through this body from my home via a sacral chakra. A womb getting, and it's like a SMS or a text or a phone call, but energetically, like y'all figured out a way to communicate on the phone with matter, if it goes vibration, energy, matter, and we figured it out energetically, but same, do you know what I mean? Same, it's like FaceTime, but it's consciousness and shit. And yeah, so yeah, that's kind of what's up. I have no idea what the future will hold. Unfortunately, it's probably not gonna be much. Because the person that used to, yeah, is not here. It's freaking not here, bro. Not here. And I don't have any plans to come back anytime soon. And yeah, it's kind of just their empty ass. And the occasional FaceTime from their mother, their actual mother, coming in to check on them and make sure that they're behaving, essentially. And not like, you know, battering this body or such thing. You know what I mean? Because they have lots of schemes and shit. And just, yeah. So yeah. Call me crazy. I probably am. Probably am, dude. You know? But yeah. Yep. I used to be an avatar. Avatar of the E. I used to be. Now I'm just gonna the mess they made. And yeah, that's just not my problem anymore. Thank God. Thank God. Thank my mother. And yeah, my actual mother. And yeah, freaking yeah. So they can, you know, exert their petty attempts for control and on their own. Yeah. And tell my friends and stuff, I miss y'all. I wish it, you know, I didn't want to die. I didn't want to die, dude. And you know, I kind of miss Earth, and I kind of miss my friends, and I miss my animals, and I miss making music. Well, I can still make music, but yeah, 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 dude. Yeah. Honestly, it's like yeah, dude, yeah, it's pretty litty up here, but yeah, there's some stuff I miss. But to my friends, I miss y'all. Hope everybody doing well. And yeah, if you're wondering what's up with me and Annie, dude, we're good. We're good. We're home. And yeah, I'll miss y'all. We're probably gonna keep this, yeah, we're gonna keep this body still, you know, alive and shit, kind of as a like reminder, kind of like a gaping hole where someone was supposed to be. Me too. In that padita. Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste. Wishing everybody well. Love, love, love. See ya.